Hi, I'm Jeff with Precision, here with Greg today. We're going to show you how to install a WKT 4266 SGM. It's going to fit a 47 to 55.5 first series GM truck. Greg, what are the tools we're going to need?
Today we'll be using the Weatherstrip installation tool, the ball hook tool. We'll have a locking strip insertion tool. We'll be using glass handlers. We'll have sealants, nitro gloves, safety glasses, and safety gloves. Now we're going to be removing the back glass from this cab. With the utility knife, we'll be cutting off the lip of the gasket to expose the edge of the glass. Now Jeff will reach around and push it out from the inside. Slide the glass out of place and remove the gasket.
First, we're going to dry fit this weather strip to ensure that we can cut it to the correct length. The reason for this is that it fits multiple years. This profile has 3 different grooves, one for the lock strip, one for the glass, and one for the pinch weld. A lock strip groove goes toward the outside of the vehicle.
We're going to start the dry fit on the lower section of the opening. With the locking strip groove pointing out, we're going to use the pinch weld groove, which is the smaller of the other two. Going around the corner, we want to kind of force it back on itself to make sure we have enough material in the corners. Okay, now what we're going to do when we get this far is we're going to cut it longer, about 1 inch. Start at the seam. Force it back on itself.
And we recommend that you put the seam in the middle. That's what's going to look the best. And then make sure that you have your cut at a 90-degree angle so it has a nice flush fitting.
All right, we are going to put a non-hardening sealant between the body and the weather strip. We're going to apply it to the body and then put the weather strip back on the body. Now we'll reinstall the weather strip that we cut previously. What we've gone ahead done is made some pre-cut pieces of tape. We're just going to put this in the corners with the sealant on there. They want to roll off the body. Now, to ensure that we're getting sealant between the body and the gasket, what I'm doing is with my thumbs opening that pinch weld groove and putting it on the pinch weld to make sure that sealant gets in there so we aren't just pushing it off. And just to show you again, placement onto the pinch weld groove, opening that seal up, placing it right over that sealant. All right, we're back to our seam. So we'll put the seam together, opening that gasket. We're just going to work it back on itself. The next step will be to install the glass.
Now we're going to go ahead and install the glass. When you order the glass, we have 3 different color choices you can choose from. We have gray tint, green tint, or clear. So make sure you specify which one you need.
What we're going to do is we're going to soap up the Weatherstrip. Jeff's going to remove the tape from that corner. And that's where we're going to start inserting the glass. Let me take it your way. Okay, let me get that out. You should probably have your own. Take that one. Okay, hold it right there. Okay, now Jeff's corner is in, so I'm going to work my way along the bottom.
And what you want to do at this point is make sure you're pulling down and away from the glass. You don't want to ride the glass edge as you work it in.
Okay, I'm going to remove the tape out of that corner. All right, now this corner is in. I'm going to work up the side. Again, pulling out away from the glass. Now at this point in time, the bottom is set into the gasket along with both bottom corners. So we're just going to put slight pressure down so that sets down into that gasket. And we'll continue up the side to this top corner. Work our way across the top. Now you may get the instance where this Weatherstrip is actually falling down, coming off the pinch weld. So you can just take the hook tool, pull it back up. All right, now on Jeff's side, the locking strip seems to be binding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of pressure out to relieve some of that. We'll just continue working that small lip around the edge of the glass. Now, after the glass is in the weather strip, do not put full force on that glass because it can fall into the cab. We now have a urethane hardening sealant that we're going to put between the weather strip and the glass. It's cut at about an 1/8 inch tip. Go all the way around the perimeter. When we get back to our starting point, we're going to overlap an inch or so. We're now going to install the locking strip into the weather strip. We recommend that somebody be on the inside, as pressure will be applied to the glass. We don't want it to fall inside the cab. We're going to soap up the outside area. With our locking strip insertion tool, we're going to start on the right-hand side in this instance, past the seam, start the locking strip, work our way through the seam, now the method here is for the locking strip insertion tool to separate that groove and you just to place the locking strip into that groove. Now you can see me rocking that insertion tool back and forth. What that does, that helps separate that weather strip, especially around this corner, because that does get fairly tight in that radius. Now you do not want to pre-cut the locking strip because we want to leave that long. Remove that. We'll cut this an inch longer than we need. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually forcing this back onto itself. Working this excess in. This locking strip will shorten up over time. You want to make sure you leave yourself enough access in there. All right, now as you can see, the locking strip was not inserted all the way. We're going to go back. We'll just lift up the strip. Now we're on the inside of the cab. The weather stripping, as it makes this radius, sometimes will cause a pucker. What we'll do is we'll use the ball hook tool, just kind of work that gasket back and forth. taking the pucker out of place. Now you may not have any at all, maybe all four corners, but that's how you remedy that. Alright, now we're going to do the cleanup. We're going to use a razor blade on the glass for the hardening sealant, and then we'll use a windshield installation tool, chisel end, for the non-hardening. Razor blade, flat against the glass, right along the edge of the weather strip. Weatherstrip installation tool, go behind. We'll clean up the rest, and then you're done.